Hi, everybody. Peg Haust-Arliss here, therapist, coach, and food for life instructor. Welcome to my kitchen. Today we have another nutrient-dense soup. It's creamy white bean, kale, and mushroom. Again, it is whole food plant-based, low fat, happens to be gluten-free too. So what I would love to do is introduce you to the ingredients right now. So let me lower my camera so you can see everything we got going on here. That looks good. Okay. So we have already done for you. We have some carrots, yellow onion, celery. We have minced garlic, red pepper flakes, dried crushed rosemary leaves. We have white beans, low sodium vegetable stock. What else do we have here? Lemon juice, salt and pepper to taste, and the star of the show right here, the kale and the mushrooms. So this is what we're working with today. I'm going to start my little cooktop here. It heats up super fast, which is good. While that's heating up, I'm going to kind of get rid of all this out of the way. It's kind of centered. Now, when we're cooking with no oil, which we always do in this way of cooking, we want to make sure the pan is hot and we have a little extra broth or water to just add as needed to prevent sticking. Okay. Let's see. This heats up pretty fast. This heats up pretty fast. I am very impressed with this little gadget. Now that I have it, I love it. I One thing I learned about it is we're going to use the boil function, and it boils like super fast, which is going to be great for cooking demonstrations. So handy little gadget. If you're interested, it is a duck's top induction cooktop. And see, we're cooking already. It is getting very hot already. Yep, ready. So we're going to add our carrots, onions, and celery. And again, we're just going to move it around. We're just going to saute this until soft, translucent. Lightly soft. While we're doing this, I'd love to talk to you about convenience. So one of the things that is really hard for people when they're first learning how to cook in general, right? Is the time, the extra time it takes, and all the chopping of the vegetables and the chopping of everything you're using. So I would love to talk to you today about convenience because time is so precious for me. So I am very busy, as you all are, and I do take some shortcuts. So for this recipe, everything is pre-cut. except for the kale. And I'll tell you why. Because I have bought pre-cut kale before, and it always seems to be with the stem. And I'm like, why do they do this? So I do use it if I happen to buy it. I have used it in my raw smoothies, but I don't like the stems in my soups. And it seems to be made that way for some reason. But the only thing that is not pre-convenienced, packaged, pre-cut in this recipe is the kale. So this was all pre-cut. Um, what else? The garlic was minced. The beans were canned. So you got to you have to rinse your beans. But some people cook them, and in their Instapots. I have tried it. I'm not doing it. But more power to you, man. I mean, I know some people who cook their beans and they love it and they think it's easy. I'm using cans. And if you do use cans, make sure you rinse them really well because they could have salt. I use salt-free cans, but sometimes they have salt in there. What else? The mushrooms were already sliced. The lemon juice, you guys, was even the lemon juice I already had squeezed in a bottle. So, topic of the day, convenience. You can do as little or as much of that convenience you want. Sometimes when I'm cooking on Sundays, because that's my time, I love to cook on Sundays with the music going, I will cut everything up from scratch. Summertime, we have a garden, so of course there's a lot more prep. But I just want, I think it's important for clients to understand that they have that option when they're in a pinch. Coming good here. So another thing while we're waiting, some people ask me how I got started on this and if there was a reason. So yes, I started to eat actually vegan back in either 1989 or 1990 with a visit to Farm Sanctuary. My husband and I took a day trip and we just heard of this place and decided to go unknowingly. We didn't know what to expect, but we left there never eating meat again. However, we did eat a lot. We still were vegetarians and we ate a lot of junk food vegan for throughout our 20s and probably throughout our 30s because I did not cook. I never cooked before. So we were eating a lot of highly processed, um, you know, all of the Boca burgers. What was it back then? Um, Kofuti ice cream, all that kind of stuff is what we kind of lived on. Cereal. And did they have almond milk back then? I can't even remember. But for many years, through our 30s and 40s, we ate kind of like highly processed junk food. Then when I turned 40, my sister was diagnosed with cancer. My father was struggling with chronic health issues, and I turned 40. So it was like a trifecta of things. And I'm like, okay, I'm scared. I went to the doctor, immediately made sure I was healthy. So I was scared of the family history. And that is when I started to learn how to home cook. And through my 40s, that was a learning curve. I loved learning how to cook. And I was using cookbooks, vegan cookbooks. My favorite was Chloe Cascarella, I think. Um, but throughout my 40s, even though I took it a step up by learning how to cook, it was still really high fat. And I was still using like additives like a Beyond Burger or something, which, it was transition time. And through my 40s and through my 50s, I started to have symptoms, these unexplained symptoms. I think we're almost good here. Unexplained symptoms, most notably was chronic fatigue, really crippling, debilitating chronic fatigue, um, tingling in my hands, and aches and pains in my knees, my shoulders. Okay, I think this is good. I will finish that story in a minute. Right now, we're going to add the garlic, red pepper flakes, and rosemary. Garlic, red pepper flakes. Quarter teaspoon to a half a teaspoon. Your choice. I like, or leave it out. I like it a little kick. I like it kicky. And crushed rose. Stir this up. Ooh, oh my goodness, it smells so good. Rosemary goes so good with mushrooms, right? I love the flavor of rosemary mushrooms too. For about 30 seconds till the garlic is fragrant. Yum, that's perfect. Now we're going to add the beans and the vegetable stock. Oh, it's for 4 cups, so it's just one whole container of this. Awesome. Want to stir it again. Now we're going to bring this to a boil. So I'm going to turn this to the boil. And again, this little thing boils quick. But while we're waiting for that to boil, I wanted to tell you my rest of my story, but I wanted to show you how to cut kale. So let's see, I gotta move this over right here. See if you can see this well. You see that? I think we're good. So here we have some beautiful kale leaves. And again, I told you that I don't buy this pre-cut because it always has the stems. So I'm going to show you how to cut these stems off really easily. So I don't mind buying this instead of the pre-cut. So all you do is you take and fold so the stem is exposed. Get your sharp, sharp knife and cut right, fold it and cut right along the edge there. And then that is your stem. You can discard. And then what you want to do is roll this up. Roll it up just like that. And then take your knife and just cut slices like that. I have learned to cut it one more time the other way to prevent long strings. So that's good. Another way you can do this, it's really easier, I think, is just rip it off. You can just rip it right off that, whichever you prefer. But kale, oh my goodness, so good for you. Immune function, support. We're going to roll this up. Can you roll it up? Put it once that way, and then just pretty. And then again, just tear it up. You can do a combination here. You can cut the stem. How about that? Cut the stem. 3 ways to do it. Cut the stem and then tear it up. How's that? You can cut the stem and then you can just use your hands to tear it up. Whatever you want to do, either way, it is easy. So this is called, I can never say it, lasatino kale, also known as Tuscan kale, also known as dinosaur kale, also known as black kale. It is so good for you. Deep blue, bumpy leaves, sweet and mild flavor it has. So there you go. Put this right aside. How are we doing with the boiling? Oh my goodness. It's pretty much come to a boil. A little bit more. When you get the rest of the ingredients over here. Real quick, I want to tell you the rest of my story. So I had all these symptoms, right, that could not be explained. Someone told me I had a carpal tunnel. No, that wasn't it. Somebody told me I was just getting old. Nope, that wasn't it. And then in my late 50s, 2021, I was finally diagnosed with rheumatoid arthritis. And that is what my father had. That is what he struggled with, crippling RA his whole life. I was shocked. I was upset. And I got to tell you what happened. Divine timing, I believe. Divine timing, because that was when I connected with the Jumpstart program through RLMI. And I did that program along with, I found a lifestyle medicine rheumatologist. And between those 2 things, I was able to get rid of all my symptoms. I know it's anecdotal. I don't have any proof, but I think that throughout the years, even when I was a junk food vegan, I think all along, I think that this way of eating um, helped prevent me from getting as bad as my dad did. And to this day, knock on wood, I have not needed any meds. So I and I got rid of some pesky pounds too that I was trying, never could get, those last 15 pounds I could never get rid of. So I have been cooking this way, this low fat, whole food, plant-based way since 2021. And my symptoms are gone. The fatigue, um, the tingling, all of that. So I am so very grateful to learn this way of cooking and have that support that I had that too. So that's my story. We are ready for the next part. Okay, so we have now, we're going to add the lemon juice. Oh, here's the fun part. We're going to use an immersion blender. I'm going to turn this off boil now. Turn this down a little bit. Okay. And we are going to use an immersion blender to make it the consistency you would like. Okay. Let's see how it goes. Make sure you put this whole thing in or it'll fly all over the place. You don't want to do that. See what I'm doing here? If you like it chunky, you can take half of this, put it in a high-speed blender, and then pour it back in. If you like it, you could do it that way if you like it. That one got away. Okay, that's good for me. So you do it to the consistency that you like. And now we're going to add the beautiful mushrooms and kale. So we'll add the mushrooms first. Again, pre-cut, easy peasy. I'm going to add this beautiful rinsed. I rinsed it all. It's all cut up and rinsed. And then what will happen is this will start to wilt, get a beautiful green color. There we go. So we're just gonna stir this up and so the kale can get nice and wilted. Mushrooms. Oh my goodness. They give it a nice texture, meaty texture. So you don't need meat. Who needs meat? Nice meaty texture to it. Mushrooms again, mushrooms, the rosemary and the lemon and the kale, they all go so good together. Okay, see how fast that wilted? Now we're going to season it with salt and pepper and we will be done. I have my little elephant here. Isn't he cute? We season that with a little salt and pepper to taste. And we're done, guys. So let me get my ladle and my bowl and see how this came out. Okay. It's a treat for you. This soup is perfect as it is, but I thought it would be really hearty to add some red potatoes. I cooked up some red potatoes and I thought it would be really good to add to the soup. So I'm going to do that. These are already cooked. I cooked them up, cubed them and cooked them. And I'm just going to add them to the soup. Whoops. Oh, I was thinking about, should I do the whole thing? Yeah, I'm just going to do the whole thing. Why not, right? Look at that. Yum. So again, the soup is perfect as it is, but if you want a little extra heartiness, throw some potatoes in. Okay, guys, here we go. Beautiful creamy white bean, kale, and mushroom soup. See that? Look at beautiful, right? Let me go grab my spoon and we'll taste it. Hi. Okay. How did this come out? It always comes out so good. Love those rosemary and mushrooms. Okay, God, that's it, you guys. And thank you again for joining me in my kitchen. And we'll see you next time. Thank you. Bye-bye for now.